but I ended up not doing that because I just couldn't be fucked. Fuck, I don't even know what cheers I'm gonna give you, Philip, to fucking good luck. All right, let's get this show on the road. Oh, god damn it. Philip, you've cursed me, you son of a... Fucking shit. They do that shit. Jesus. When I heard that you made a response video, I was thrilled. I will admit, when I saw the thumbnail, my hopes and expectations were not exactly high. It was mostly the thumbnail in the first, 2 minutes that had the petty stuff in it, and that's totally valid. I don't have time for a bunch of petty stuff in this video because the video is already long enough, so I decided that my petty response would be in the thumbnail of this video. So I hope you appreciate it. Before I actually watched your video, I checked out what the reception was in the comments, and it didn't look great. There were a lot of people saying that you were highly defensive, that you don't address any of the points that I actually made, and some people even saying that it didn't seem like you watched my videos at all. Now, I knew I wanted to respond to this video of yours, but I also wanted to give you a fair chance to defend yourself. I know it's nice to do a hasty response and then kind of regret it later. So I left this comment, giving you an opportunity to reflect on your video, change something you wanted, and re-upload it in a way that you want to represent you. And I even gave you 6 days of wiggle room to do it. This was your response. So just a reminder before we start talking about this, that you locked in this answer. My initial notes, Philip, are that I'm a bit disappointed. You seem to have entirely missed the point of my video, which is that spreading misinformation and lies under the guise of free thinking and research is an incredibly irresponsible way to use a platform of more than 1.5 million. You don't address any of the points that I bring up in my video. None of the research, none of the topics. You barely even talk about archaeology. You don't even acknowledge the fact that I was able to prove things you are saying are false for nearly 4 hours straight.
Thanks, Michael.
First of all, I want to... Set the record straight. Dude, this is just me and my platform that are just blatantly not true. Yo, Philip, did you copy my setup, bro? Come on. Dude, this is just unbelievable. I can't with this fucking guy. Okay, Philip, I'm fucking with you. But as a show of good faith, I do want to start here. The last thing I want is for you to feel like you were misrepresented in my video, so by all means, set the record straight. All right, Philip, before we actually get into this thing, I think we need some stakes. So here's the deal I'm going to make with you. If your response is mature and well thought out and addresses the points I'm making to you, I will keep this couch as a permanent fixture in my studio. But if your response is dismissive, immature, and doesn't address a single point I'm trying to make, I will throw this couch out of my studio's second-story window. Make sure to stick around till the end to see why I throw a couch out a window. You guys know the Goopy Bunkers hoodie already, okay? It's in the description. I'm not going to keep wearing this. It's too fucking hot. Right onto the floor. You know what? Honestly, I feel like in the nature of this video, I should wear my hat like this. Fuck. I look like I'd be on the news.
Did you have his description? We take that? Take his description.
Firstly, I live in Canada.
Well, I do have a weird where he lives in Canada.
When my channel was analyzed, this false narrative of me being this good-hearted guy who only ever talked about science and space and history that slowly turned to the dark side of conspiracy theories and misinformation for profit and clout is just not true.
Okay, I hear that. Philip, that's not exactly what I said. I acknowledge that you have always been interested in these things. That was the thesis at the end of my video. I played the first video you ever made, the one where you talk about how we are made of stardust, because I think it's a great example of science communication. When you really start talking about archaeological conspiracies, the ones that I particularly focused on a little bit later in your channel, I know that you had talked about conspiracies almost from the get-go. So while I did use an early example of you talking about actual science, I don't know if I would call this false narrative as much as I would call it giving you the benefit of the doubt. I also don't know if it's too much of a defense here to say, whoa, guys, you're giving me way too much credit. I've always been spreading misinformation. Now, jabs aside, if you do genuinely feel like I misrepresented you here by somehow saying that you kind of sold out and became someone who only talked about conspiracies, then I apologize. That was not my intent. I did my best to make that clear at the conclusion of my video, where I talk about actual good science communication that you have done, and encourage you to continue doing more like it, which is why I used that video and this video to make an appeal to you instead of just condemning you. In fact, you actually make the same point that I was making.
They're all topics that I'm genuinely passionate and just love talking about, not something that I pretend to like.
Philip, I totally see that. In fact, I literally said almost exactly that in my video. I can tell that you are actually interested in all the topics that you talk about. You are into history, space, science, mysteries, and universe. I don't think that you are pretending to be interested in conspiracy theories for views. At the beginning, I speculated whether or not views or money could be a factor, but my conclusion had literally nothing to do with this speculation. I did my best at the end to acknowledge your genuine motive and passion by having a look at some of your good science communication videos. If you feel like I didn't make this point clear enough either, then I apologize for that as well. It was also not my intent. But my early speculation into whether or not views were a factor were a footnote in my overarching thesis that you are spreading conspiracy theories and misinformation. And that is incredibly irresponsible. It doesn't matter if you are making your conspiracy videos because of money or because of views or just because you're interested. The fact remains that you're making videos where you peddle conspiracy theories as if they were fact and they get a disproportionate amount of views to everything else that you make. While your motives would certainly affect how harsh I'm being, it doesn't change the fact that one way or another, millions of people are now walking away from your videos with misinformation that they learned from you.
Less than 40% of my videos in the past few months have been these controversial conspiracy topics.
Philip, I don't really care what the ratio is. I'm glad you make videos about actual science, but I'm not going to give you some, bonus points for that. It's the fact that you make these science videos that's the very reason I'm trying to get through to you, because I can tell that you at least somewhat care about fact and truth. If all you made was conspiracy videos, I wouldn't be very confident that I could apply to your reason. You need to make clear to people that when you are talking about things like the Egyptian power plants or the Bosnian pyramids, they are not just fun facts, they are widely disproven conspiracy theories. That is not just my opinion. Again, I researched all of these points extensively. The sources are in my videos. But when I researched all the same topics that you claim to have researched, I was able to easily disprove almost every single word you said, which got me wondering, how do you do your research? Hearing someone boast about how they do their own research right before saying something that is profoundly wrong is nothing new to me. It always makes me wonder, what kind of research are they talking about? Thankfully, Philip enlightens us as to his research process.
This might be hard to believe for some people, but research for conspiracy videos takes much longer than it does for regular science videos. In fact, no one's probably going to believe me, but my conspiracy videos take on average about 10 times longer to research than my regular science fact videos. That's a fact. My famous Stardust video, which I love that video, by the way, I shit you not, took me less than 5 minutes to research, and then I just kind of spoke what I learned. Done. Nothing wrong with that, it's just how it went. My famous Stardust video, which I love that video, by the way, I shit you not, took me less than 5 minutes to research, and then I just kind of spoke what I learned. Done. Nothing wrong with that, it's just how it went. Other videos of a similar length, but of more controversial nature, say my long lost 8th continent of view video, took a minimum of about 2 hours just to research and script. Finding information on them usually takes a bit of deep digging. Much deeper than I'd have to do like a regular space video, which would require nothing more than a surface level research.
Oh boy. Philip, I believe you when you say that your science videos are easier to research. Some will argue whether or not that's a good or a bad thing. But one of the reasons these topics are easier to research is because there's actual evidence for it. You take for granted the fact you can open fucking Wikipedia and learn everything there is to know about star formation because of the work of diligent scientists. And don't get me wrong, I encountered this too with my shorts. When I talk about the Wrangel Island mammoths, I'm not going to read scientific paper to try and condense it into 60 seconds. I can use multiple shorter sources, cross-reference between one another, and get reliable information I can fit into the 60 seconds and probably do it all in less than an hour. But if I was doing a longer video on the Wrangel Island mammoths, I would go into much more research because I'd actually have the time to talk about all of it. But I want to take a look at the claim that it takes you 2 hours to research the conspiracy theory videos, because that makes me wonder to myself, what kind of research are you doing? In my videos on you, I research the exact same topics that you claim to have researched. Let's take the Bosnian pyramids, for example. I pushed this one really hard in my video on you because I think it is the worst thing you have ever created. In this couple-minute video, you talk about the Bosnian pyramid conspiracy theory as if it were fact. In doing so, you belittle and vilify actual archaeologists and scientists who have studied the site, fail to provide any of the mountain of evidence that it is not a pyramid. You validate and applaud the con man who opened it and is now raking in millions of dollars, including from the government, by doing so missing an opportunity to talk about Bosnia's actual national heritage, which is in a museum that is still in ruins after a fucking war. And to cap it all off, this video of yours has more than 30 million views. You promoted